Afterward, Jesus appeared again to his disciples by the Sea of Galilee. It happened this way. Simon Peter, Thomas, Nathanael from Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and 2 other disciples were together. "I'm going out to fish," Simon Peter told them. And they said, "We'll go with you." So they went out and got into the boat, but that night they caught nothing. Early in the morning, Jesus stood on the shore, but the disciples did not realize that it was Jesus. He called out to them, "Friends, haven't you any fish?" "No," they answered. He said, "Throw your net on the right side of the boat and you will find some." When they did, they were unable to haul the net in because of the large number of fish. Then the disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter, "It is the Lord." As soon as Simon Peter heard him say, "It is the Lord," he wrapped his outer garment around him, for he had taken it off, and jumped into the water. The other disciples followed in the boat, towing the net full of fish, for they were not far from shore, about 100 yards. When they landed, they saw a fire of burning coals, there with fish on it, and some bread. Jesus said to them, "Bring some of the fish you have just caught." So Simon Peter climbed back into the boat and dragged the net ashore. It was full of large fish, 153. But even with so many, the net was not torn. Jesus said to them, "Come and have breakfast." None of the disciples dared ask him, "Who are you?" They knew it was the Lord. Jesus came, took the bread and gave it to them, and did the same with the fish. This was now the 3rd time Jesus appeared to his disciples after he was raised from the dead. Preparing a meal for the disciples. That's why this church is called, in English, Christ's Table. Table of Christ. And as I mentioned, it commemorates the apparition, sort of the appearing as a kind of a ghost apparition after the resurrection. So we're skipping ahead from the ministry. Now we're after everything that happened in Jerusalem. The site here belongs to Franciscans, I was at. This is a Catholic church. He had finished eating. Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" "Yes, Lord," he said, "you know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my lambs." Again Jesus said, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" He answered, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." Jesus said, "Take care of my sheep." The 3rd time he said to him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was hurt because Jesus asked him the 3rd time, "Do you love me?" He said, "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my sheep." Very truly I tell you, when you were younger, you dressed yourself and went where you wanted. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands, and someone else will dress you and lead you where you do not want to go. Jesus said this to indicate the kind of death by which Peter would glorify God. Then he said to him, "Follow me." There's a lot in these verses that ties up some loose ends. There's a lot to discuss. What is the meaning of all this? What is the meaning, of course, of in the story of Jesus asking Peter 3 times, "Do you love me?" What happened before with Jesus and Peter?
3 times.
3 times he betrayed him. So this provides a bit of closure, I think, to Peter. And it's a sort of way of Peter atoning for the 3 denials. There's a bit of closure between him and Jesus. So if you're Catholic, you read these verses, of course, one way. You see this as the origin of papal authority, of Peter. So one of the names of this church is the Church of the Primacy of Peter. Not the same as the primacy of Peter, the Bishop of Rome. It's a Catholic interpretation, but the primacy of Peter is something that is happening at the end of the book of John. A few words about what you're looking at around you. Again, the Franciscans excavated here about 100 years ago and found the remains of the older Byzantine church. And this more modern church, like all the others, is built around to preserve what the Byzantines identified as Mensa Christi, as Christ's table. You can also see a statue over here of exactly what I just read, "Feed my sheep."